In this video, we're going to talk about how to actually connect a website form like this one to a Notion database like this one. And we're going to do this in a way that is completely automated. Once you actually set up this automation using Zapier, you won't have to manually go in and update your database in Notion. As soon as the person fills out the form on the website, it'll automatically add it to your Notion database. So real quick, I'm going to give you some context as to what this form is and what we're actually trying to do with this and the database that we're plugging it into, just so you have some context as to what we're doing here. So this is a creative services intake form. Basically, our clients that want design work done from us, they can kind of fill out their name, their email, what kind of project they want done, and project description, need by date, and any other links or any other information they want in here. And then what we want to do on the back end, what we use is we use this Design Team OS, which is a template that we are working on still. It's in the testing phase. We're trying to make it streamlined and clean and working in a way that we can, then start allowing people to duplicate it. So if you're interested in actually downloading this, we'll leave a link in the description to actually sign up for updates. But right now, this is not available. Now, coming back to what we actually want to do is we want to connect the website form to this template so that as soon as someone puts a task in, it shows up in these tasks, and we can kind of basically assign it to whoever we need to assign it to. And then we can monitor the progress and kind of monitor individual tasks as needed, right? And so how we're going to do this is, first off, I want to go to Squarespace because I'm using Squarespace here, and we're going to look at the form and edit the form. And so a thing to note here is that you can do this on any platform you're using. I'm using Squarespace here. Now, you can connect it to Squarespace. You can connect Squarespace to Zapier directly, but the problem that happens is if you actually try to connect Zapier, I'm not going to show you, but if you actually try to connect Zapier, Zapier asks for a API key that you have to actually generate. And so if you go to settings and you go to developer tools and developer API keys, you go to generate key, it's a premium feature. So if you're using the base version of Squarespace, the personal plan, you actually can't use that. And so for our needs, since we don't necessarily use this for any type of like commerce, this is kind of just like a static page website for us. So we don't need necessarily to have all the features that are included in premium. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a workaround here. So the workaround is basically you go into edit this, you go to storage, and then you want to make sure it's connected to Google Drive. So you connect it to Google Drive. If it's not connected, you're going to connect your Google Drive here and then name your spreadsheet. So I already named it here, Creative Intake. You can change the name. It'll create a new spreadsheet, whatever you want. But right now I already have it as Creative Intake, so we're going to leave it there. So that's set up. Now what we're going to do is going to go into Zapier, and we're going to create a new automation. And so we go to New Zap, and we're going to go to Google Sheets. And we're going to choose an event, new or updated spreadsheet row. So anytime this spreadsheet is updated, so when the customer or client or whoever it is fills out the form on the website, it's going to add a new row into the spreadsheet. And so that's what we want. So as soon as it does that, make sure it's connected to the right account and the right spreadsheet. And then we go to continue and we select the spreadsheet. Now, it's really important to just select the right one. Over here, for us, it's going to be Creative Intake. And then worksheet. There's only one worksheet in here, so it's going to be sheet 0 or sheet 1, whatever. And you can test it. So what we want to do is make sure that it's pulling the right information here. And so we're going to actually use this one. This is a test form I filled out just for this YouTube test. So YouTube test, put my email in, video editing, need a video edited, blah, blah, blah. That's all the information that I filled out over here. So I filled this out before this video. I put in video editing, blah, blah. And then it kind of showed up in this Google form. And now we can see in Zapier, it's showing the right information based on what I had. So continue with selected. And then what we're going to do is connect this to Notion, choose an event, create a database item. So there's a number of things you can do with Notion actually here. You can also create a page or update a database item, whatever you want to do. For us, since we already have a master task list database, we're going to just create a database item. We want that to show up in our database because then in our dashboard, in our main dashboard, we have a bunch of different views of that same database. So then we got to add our account here. Boom. Added our account. Now the database, we got to make sure we're using the right one. So just to confirm here, we're going to go back in, and then it's called the master task list. That's what we want to connect it to. Master task. Right. That is the one. Okay, so in the top one, we're actually going to put the project type because that's the first thing we want to know, at least for like the information that we're trying to get out of it is like, what kind of project is it? And then we want to know who actually wants it done. So these are the past clients that we've had. And this one, I actually want it to be custom based on whatever is kind of popped up, whatever the client puts, right? And so that's what we're going to put. And then include time with date fields. Over here, we're going to choose false. If you read here, you can see true means we'll use both dates and times. False means we'll use just dates. For our purposes, we only need dates. So the start date we're going to use for the project is going to be submitted on. And then the end date is going to be the need by date. Okay. And so the owner, by default, what I want is the owner to be myself so that then I can reassign the task to other people. And then in terms of content, we're just going to put project description. Okay. And then we also want to add here any of the other things that they put, other notes, because we have two forms or two sections on the form. If you look at the form again, we have project description where they actually put the project and then other notes where they can put anything else. So we want to have all that information captured in our Notion template with the first go. Then we go continue. We're going to want to test this action. Boom. So database item was sent to Notion about 1 second ago. So let's go over to Notion. And you can see I got a notification here. Zapier mentioned you in a page. And so let's take a look at this. Video editing, June 27th, June 30th, assigned to me. Need a video edited, explain the automation process for Zapier. Nothing else, just want to test this. Boom, perfect. That's exactly the information that I wanted in here. And so now if we go to our main homepage, we can see it should be assigned to me in this thing too. You're going to see two here because I actually tried to record this video once before, and I'm recording this again. But anyway, it worked both times. Anyway, so now that we know it works, we're going to publish this. And so once the Zap is live, you're good to go. That's pretty much it. And what you're just going to want to do, you can transfer existing data, but I already have it, so I don't need it. So I'm just going to go to my Zaps. And then one thing that you probably should do that I forgot to mention here is you should probably change this title to a title that actually makes sense. Creative intake, Notion. That makes sense to me. All right, so now that that's all set up, let's just test this one more time to make sure that this is working properly. So we're going to go in here. We're just going to put YouTube test final. Put my email here. And let's just make it a web design project. Web design, something nice. And let's say it's due July 6th. Nothing else. Submit. Thank you. We'll get started working on this project as soon as possible. So now let's head over to our design team OS. And now let's go over the design team OS. As you can see, we have some notifications. I think some of these are unread from before. But anyway, we go to web design. Boom, perfect. YouTube test final. I'm the owner, not started. Web design, do something like that. Okay, let's get this started then. And boom, we are in business. And that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Now you have a website form that is connected to a Notion database. What I'm interested in to see is what you use this automation for. Let me know in the comments below what you're using Zapier for with Notion. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.